The newer Giant Trance 27.5 trail bikes have the ability to run 2.6 size tires. So now it's time to take advantage of that and see how larger tires are on the Trance. The 2.6 size tires that I'll be putting on the Trance are the Schwalbe Knobby Nicks. These are tubeless easy and they're snake skin, so they have the stronger sidewalls. When I was doing the comparison of the Hardtail Plus bike and the Trance, I came to the conclusion that it may not be necessary to go with a full-on plus size tire on a longer travel trail bike. The suspension of a longer travel full suspension trail bike gives the bike really good braking traction, really good cornering traction, and having a full-on 3.0 or 2.8 plus size tire may be overkill. In other words, you may be adding more weight than is what's really necessary. So I'm curious to see if a 2.6 may be the perfect size tire for a long travel trail bike. So let's get a weight of the bike before we do the tire swap. And it's 27.14. Now this bike has a 2.35 on the front and a 2.2 on the back. Still knobby nicks, so we're going with the same tread pattern, but we're just making the tire bigger. So let's do this swap and see what it looks like. So before I put the tire on the bike, I'm just weighing this 2.6, and we've got 1.72 pounds, and if I change that to metric, it's 770 grams for the 2.6 knobby nick. I've been working on bikes a long time, and I've never had such an issue unseating a bead from a rim. It's ridiculous. If I was going to switch tires often on a bike, I would get another set of rims. This is just crazy. When I used to ride motorcycles, I did my own tires, and I had a bead breaker, and I so wish I would have kept that. I could use it right now. Alright, finally got it with a pair of tire levers. I've never had to use tire levers to unseat a bead. Once you get it, it's easy. I get the other side. You stick the tire lever in there, and I'm using these orange Pedros tire levers, kind of flat and wide. Finally got it on there. It was way more difficult than it really needed to be. Let's air it up. Alright, so that's what a 2.6 looks like on the standard Trance rim. You know, it doesn't look all that massive. Let's get a little comparison here with the current tire on the Trance. I still got the rear one on, so let's compare it to that and then compare it to the Plus bike and just see what it looks like. So again, the rear tire that's on the Trance now is a 2.2, and you know, it doesn't look all that massive. So yeah, you know, I think my theory's right. It's gonna add some extra traction without being too heavy. And I did weigh the tire that came off, and it was only 30 grams lighter. So whereas this was 770 grams, the stock tire on the front, which was a 2.35, was 740. Now granted, it has some Stans fluid kind of in there, so that may have added a little bit of weight, but this 2.6 isn't that much heavier than the stock tires. Now let's look at this tire compared to the Plus bike. So that's a pretty big difference. So if I can get that lined up. Yeah, that's, you know, it's, I mean, 2.6 really does fit right in between there, but it looks like that 3.0 is quite a bit bigger than the 2.6. Alright, now let's get the rear done. So the rear tire unseated like any other normal tire would. I just used my hands and popped it loose. It was just the front one that was such a bear. Well, That's good news. So on the front tire, I had to remove the valve core because when I was popping air in there, with the valve core in, it wasn't pushing the beads out quick enough to get them to air up. So with the rear, I'm going to just take the valve core out and start from there. Alright, we'll just pop air in there without the valve core and get the beads to flare out and get seated in the channel. Then we'll put the valve core in and air it up. Alright, so even with the valve core out on the rear, I had to whack it a few times to get it to seat. So yeah, you know, like I said, with the beads being so tight, at least you know they're in there good and you're not going to burp a sidewall. So let's get it on the bike, get a weight, and let's look at the clearance of the tires now in the frame with the 2.6. Alright, so with the 2.6 tires on, we're at 27.49. And that is, by the way, weighed with Shimano XT trail pedals. So this bike's ready to go. So it looks like we gained 0.37 pounds with the 2.6 size tires. So just a little over 1/4 pound. Not bad. That's pretty light for a full-on trail bike with 2.6 tires. All right, now let's look at clearance. And so that's the back. Not bad. Still got some pretty decent mud clearance. And on the front, tons of clearance. So yeah, not bad. Gosh, you could probably put a plus size tire on that fork. So Giant spec'd 27mm wide rims on this bike, and you can see that it's not like the tire is just way bigger than the rim, so it doesn't look like you have this skinny rim in the middle. Just for comparison, this is the Plus bike with Plus tires, and you can see the seat stays have a ton of clearance. Chain stays, I'd probably say it's about what the Trance just looked like, maybe a little bit more. And on the front, again, about what the Trance just looked like with the 2.6. So there's a 2.6 conversion on the Trance. I'll follow up this video in a couple days after I get back out on the trail, and we'll see how it rides. But just riding it around the driveway, it doesn't look like I've added this massive tire on the Trance. It does look bigger, but especially the front. So the front was a 2.35, so we didn't go that much bigger, but it is bigger, so I'm looking forward to seeing how much more traction I have in the corners on the Trance, which, by the way, already had a ton of traction. So I've added more traction without adding a lot of weight. So again, I'll report back after I get some time on the bike on the trail. Thanks for watching.